A very pleasant Thursday morning to you. Welcome once again to Untengle on the Bridge 99 FM. I want to say a very special good morning to Richie B and the Up and Go crew. You all have yourselves a wonderful day. And for all those joining us on the bridge, a very pleasant good morning to you. Thank you so very much for joining us on the bridge. You know, we do all of this just because of you. I want to say a very special morning to the Untangle team undoubtable. I want to say a special good morning to Oneil. Oneil, you there?
I'm here. Morning, Elise.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you?
I'm very well, thanks. Where in the world are you? Jamaica, Cayman, France, where you there?
I'm in Jamaica
Oh,
currently.
okay, all right, wonderful. All right, so I was introducing you and telling our listeners that we're going to be talking to you. So we know that you are from humble origins. So it was written that you're a prime example of the phrase from nothing to something. And there is a friend of mine who lectures on campus and he raised a philosophical point. And the point he raised is, when were we ever nothing?
The truth is, as somebody who also am familiar with the media, I don't have any control over the headline that the journalist uses.
No, no, no,
So,
no, no, no. It was, I know, I'm just asking you how you feel about it. I know it has nothing to do with you.
I think it's the message behind it that's important. And so for me, I heard the conversation that you were having earlier, and I do not take it to be something demeaning. So
Okay.
it's just to show where I'm coming from. And the truth is, having explained all information to the journalist, I can understand why he would capture it like that. Because I grew up in a community or in communities where I often heard the statement, nothing good can come out of these communities.
Yes,
So
yes.
literally, that's something I struggled with for a couple of years. Like, why is it that there are so many young people here, but we kept hearing that statement that, okay, our destiny rather was limited to what we were accustomed to. And I'm not degrading any particular profession, but I'm from farming communities. So it's pretty much that, okay, when you leave or when you drop out of high school, because that was the trend, then you would probably just go into farming or just sit on the road corner.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk. I get you. I understand you 100%. And I understand that you understand, and I understand too. But, we can have these philosophical conversations. I love these philosophical conversations. Anyway, so you're 27 and you're actually born or raised in Tower Hill, Mavis Banks, and Andrew Lime Tree. Tell us a little bit about your community, where you're originally from, and what was life like then.
All right, so those communities, Lime Tree and Tower Hill, are a part of the broader community of Mavis Bank. That's where the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory is of Blue Mountain side, East Rural St. Andrew. So it's good to point that out because if we say Tower Hill or Lime Tree, people may not be able to relate, but it's in the Mavis Bank area.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up, as I said earlier, in farming communities, dirt road, very bad road, terrible roads, with my family of eight. So my parents and my siblings. So together we're six children.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in Line Tree, we were living in a two-bedroom house with a living room, outside kitchen, and bathroom. So as siblings, we grew up sharing the same room. We're three boys, three girls, and then my parents would be in the other room for the most part. But I enjoyed my childhood. It's a community in which we used to play a lot of cricket, and some of the other guys would play football.
Mm-hmm.
And but we are used to like going to Mango Bush and on Sunday sometimes, and during the summer break, my parents are coffee farmers, so we had to go to coffee farm to pick coffee to help to support ourselves.
Okay. All right. As I listen to you, as I listen to you, honestly, I take Jalali's point even more because this is so much. This is just so much. And I'm sure all of these experiences that you have outlined, was something, and it actually helped to form who you have become.
Uh, Absolutely. Having understood the struggles that my parents went through and also ourselves as siblings, they definitely influenced our decision to not wanting to become or to be limited like our parents were limited. And so we knew we had to push. Things were very difficult socioeconomically because, having to support um, 6 or 5 children because my elder brother is like 10 years older than me. So he was not necessarily living with us all the time. But to send 5 children to school, and I remember when when I was in university, we were three in university at the same time. So you can
Really?
imagine coming from our background and having to send 3 children to school at the same time. Plus, my 2 sisters that follow me were in school as well. So it was very difficult. I remember when I started college, people were like, why didn't you just have, wait until his big brother finished the MICO before you sent him to university? But I was adamant that this was what I wanted and I was going to pursue my dream.
So
So
your
I still
parents
went
paid for
ahead.
that?
Um, I remember when I got the call, because I signed up for college late, I was contemplating whether to go to sixth form or go directly to college. And when I got the call from the registrar to come in on the Sunday, because I would have been a residential student and they were going to have some, I think it was commencement service for the academic year, which meant that I needed to buy stuff to take on dorm and to pay money to register. We didn't have any money. My big sister got her partner job that very week, and my mother called her and said, "Listen, your brother got accepted to go to school, so I'm going to ask you to help him out." So she
Wow.
called me, we went downtown, we bought some stuff, and then I was able to register. It was probably maximum $20,000 that I had to register. And Marcia, she started New Tech, and my brother was still in the mic at the Michael.
Wow.
Um, so I knew that I had to work hard in terms of my academics because my brother had it difficulty to get guarantors for his loan.
Yeah, who
And it
will
was not
sign
until
it?
in the final year that he was able to secure a student's loan. So you can imagine my parents had to butter
Oh
to
my
send him through the first two
goodness.
years of school.
So farming did that.
Yes. And there were other people who helped because I often said we were raised by a community. We literally the village raised us. And so we had our second mothers, we call them aunties, aunties, and people from my church, the Caribbean Conference of Seventh-day Christian, they would always assist. We had every year we could look forward to a grant from our church conference. And
Good.
also I went to Excelsior High School. And so we have a very strong alumni association. And so when I wrote to them, literally every semester I could look forward to 500 US dollars on my
Woo,
tuition fees.
that's
So
nice.
yeah. So these were the people who assisted, and then I would apply for grants as well. The PATH had grants, NCB had grants, and so I had to look out. And I remember to take a lot of risk applying for scholarships. Sometimes I felt that I wouldn't qualify, but I still made the effort. And because I remember praying in grade 9 when I realized, oh, my brother was suffering to go through school.
Oh
I said,
my.
God, I'm going to go through college and I'm not going to borrow any loan. And literally, when I left Shortwood, I had a zero balance on my account. Zero.
Oh my goodness. This is amazing. So what did you actually study? What was
I
your
studied
discipline?
a Bachelor of Education in French and Spanish.
Oh, French and Spanish.
Yes.
So you teach both French and Spanish or just
Yeah.
French?
I teach both and I also teach English language because I have a background in that as well.
Oh, interesting. You know, when I was going to school, there was some stigma attached to boys doing languages.
Yes.
That was that always there when you was
It's
that still
always
there?
the case. It's always the case. And I remember my first job. I started in higher education very early. I was 20 years old when I was an assistant teacher at Spanish at a particular university. And I had a group of mainly engineering students, so it was mainly males.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite uncomfortable for some of them having a male teacher teaching them language. I was like, listen, we have to break the stigma. We have to break the stigma. And it's so, I struggled with it for a moment, but when I went to Europe, I spent a couple years there and I realized that a lot of people there are polyglots. So why are we so reserved about males learning languages in Jamaica and about males speaking standard English in Jamaica? And this is how I speak generally. And so I remember even when I started college, I got the remark that, oh, you're very polished and stuff, but this is how I speak generally. That's not to
Mm-hmm.
say I do not speak the Jamaican Creole. I mean, I'm a linguist, so I do speak it and I do understand certain rudiments of the Jamaican language. But generally speaking, whether at home, at work, in social spaces, this is how I generally speak. And so I told myself I will not, you know, change how I speak to fit into any particular group.
So did you manage to break the stigma, or at least try?
And I think my story also has helped to has helped people to realize that there is nothing girly about learning a foreign language
Absolutely
because there
not.
are a lot of opportunities. And I remember some time ago, I was a guest speaker at a particular high school in Manchester. And I said to the group, listen, especially to the boys, listen, when you speak a foreign language, it is sexy. And you, in that regard, you can, you know, woo
What
some
do you
girls.
find?
So
What do I don't worry about the girls because I know that I know we will, no, let me not say that. But I worry about the boys. Let me say that. Um, what language of the three languages that you teach? Which of the three languages did you find that the boys had no problem trying to learn?
Spanish.
Okay,
And that's because in our dynamics in Jamaica, Spanish is the more dominant foreign language that is taught.
right,
And there are
right.
very few schools that teach French. And I can say that as a president of the Jamaica Association of French Teachers. There are very few schools that do French, but Spanish is more widespread. And because the phonetics of Spanish is easier, because
Yes,
what you see, that's what you pronounce,
yes,
as opposed to French that, okay, you see some endings, but you get a total different sound. And then what usually happens when it comes on to pronunciating words in another language is that initially you tend to pronounce it based on your native language. So you have
yes.
native language influence. And so a lot of students tend to bring that native language influence into the foreign language, and it doesn't work in French. You may get away with it in Spanish, but not with French.
But as I'm listening to you, O'Neill, I hear you saying that the phonics for Spanish is easier than that for French. But isn't the English language the most difficult one to learn?
Um, I tell people also that English is very difficult, but what makes English easier for a lot of people is that you can have a basic level in English and still be able to have a conversation. It takes a lot more vocabulary and expression in French to have a basic conversation. And
Okay.
so I'm in Europe, I'm in France, and I'm in the streets and I can ask for some basic information. And people are able to produce a certain level of English to assist me.
Okay.
If foreigners came to Jamaica and wanted to find out a basic information with the little language level that foreign language level that a lot of us have in Jamaica, it would be somewhat difficult for us to explain certain things. So it requires a lot more vocabulary
I hear you.
to be able
All
to.
right. So you are using social media, WhatsApp in particular, to help to teach foreign languages, all of them, both English and French.
Yes, English and French in this case.
How do you find doing that though? It does it make a difference whether it's you're teaching through via social media or in the classroom?
It's fascinating because this is the social aspect, and so I like my doctoral thesis focuses on, putting learners of different languages in a social media context where they can discuss different cultural and intercultural issues.
Mm-hmm.
And through their interactions, they will develop linguistic, cultural, and intercultural competencies. And so WhatsApp, I did a paper on this. WhatsApp turns out to be a platform that is practical, preferable, and popular because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people use WhatsApp. And
Yeah.
so because it's instant, the functionalities, the features are there where you can send audio, you can
Mm-hmm.
text, you can have video calls. So it's right there in your hand. Your phone is in
Right.
your hand, you can WhatsApp. And
Mm-hmm.
so I find that the project helps to build these different competencies. And then the students learn a lot of regular language because when you go to school formally, you learn formal language. And I remember when I just went to France, and because we learned formal language in school, that's how we would speak.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to France and you realize that nobody speaks that way because it's very academic. And
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm a big supporter of social linguistics because that's a language you're going to hear on a daily basis. I'm not saying to neglect the formal language, but we need to be able to communicate naturally. And
Right.
so you don't go before a native speaker and you're using this sophisticated, scholarly language that nobody uses on a daily basis apart from the academic
It's
context.
like we
And
talking
so,
and using hitherto and wherewithal and and and
right,
and
the
and
Shakespearean and the Elizabethan English, right?
yes, but let me ask you this though, O'Neill. You talk about the everyday language. Don't you find? I remember when we were in high school, those of us who did Spanish, there were always trips to Mexico or trips to Spanish-speaking countries, and that
Mm-hmm.
would definitely help with what you just described. Not so synthetic and not so academic,
Yes,
because we could actually speak the language of we learn to speak the language of
mm-hmm.
the people. Do you find that fine WhatsApp can help, but do you find that your students would learn the language a lot better if they were to mix with people who actually speak the language?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It has worked for me. And that's how I became bilingual in French. I'm fully native level bilingual in French. I've been in France for a number of years. And because of that, I remember when I was at Shortwood, so we went to France in year 3 for 6 weeks. And the students who majored in Spanish went to Panama at the time. Now they go to Spain and France. Um, and because I found the time frame to be very short, I personally, when I was in France, I pushed to have the students spend a semester. So I worked on bilateral agreements between Shortwood and my university in France, where the students are able to now spend at least a semester so they can have a longer period in the language, going to school, seeing signs on the roadside, going
Right.
into restaurants, into shops, ordering things, making the mistakes and learning
Right,
from the
right,
mistakes.
right. I remember having a Spanish teacher at Wolmer's, and she would ask us questions, and we had to speak in Spanish. And sometimes you just say and she said brazo. We couldn't say miss so there are ways of teaching this language that can be very exciting, but let me just go here before we close off, because I see my producer looking at me as though he's saying it's time to wind up. So you have been mentoring older and younger men, and
Yes.
you have actually created Rock Care Foundation. Let us talk briefly about Rock Care Foundation, and what do you find that your brothers need mentoring in more than anything else?
All right. So Rock Your Foundation, which means reaching others through compassion and kindness, was officially created in 2019 by myself and two friends, Raj and Cleon. So I've always been in the business of giving back because, as I said, a village raised me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I felt that deep down and from a moral perspective, I was obligated to give back. I live by a phrase which is which says, "We have become to help others become."
Mm-hmm.
And so for example, I am the director of education and empowerment. So I do a lot of mentoring,
Mm-hmm.
and I, I specifically focus on males because of the dynamics of Jamaican society where we're losing a lot of our young men.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them I find did not grow up with a father figure. And then we, in our schools, we don't have a lot of male teachers either. And
Mm-hmm.
we know the negative stigmas that exist in our society when it comes on to certain dynamics, whether we want to accept or not, in entertainment, for example. And so I try to help young men to see that they are more than the average, more than what comes on the news every day, that
Mm-hmm.
a lot of our young men are involved in criminal activities. That, listen, there's a future for you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you may not necessarily become an academic person, because even though I'm very academic, I don't push that on people. Like,
Okay.
you can become successful through vocational and the vocational and technical areas.
Right.
So I try to help them in that regard. I try to help them also to make the transition from their teenage years into young adulthood. As a teenager, I didn't have that strong support. And I started college at 17 years old. I
Mm-hmm.
was the youngest male on campus when I started college. And so I wanting to share from my own experiences to help others to, make certain transitions, because you will have to make some monumental decisions. And I think I can play a role in that regard. And I'm very
Wonderful.
much involved in leadership as well. So a lot of the people that I mentor are also involved in leadership. They become boys of their schools. I help them with public speaking, writing skills as well. So whatever I possess as an individual, I try to, invest in others as well.
Wonderful. This is where we're going to have to say so long. But as you talk about transition, I know how very important it is at every level, because
Yes,
sometimes transitioning can be a very traumatic experience.
yes, yes.
Even just transitioning from primary school to high school sometimes
Mhm.
is traumatic. So I really respect the fact that you are helping young men to transition wherever that transitioning is.
Mhm.
It's wonderful talking to you, Oneil. It's nice talking
My
to
pleasure.
it's nice talking to a linguist who is a man who understands that there's a stigma there and
That.
who is actually trying to break that stigma. And someone who has lived in so many different countries, and you're here now in Jamaica giving back, right?
Giving back, absolutely. And I know wrapping up, but um, the world is becoming more and more interconnected, and we are looking at what we call global competencies, one of which includes mastering a foreign language. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have a role to play as a male, as a linguist, to
Mm-hmm.
break that barrier, because, I have, like, benefited from so many experiences, and it's just beautiful being able to speak another language. But if you can even speak more than one, then that's awesome.
It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And for those brothers who think that them can only talk English and patois and them talk about because them is African, I just don't like to hear that at all, because the Africans speak them native language, them
Numerous
Creole,
dialects too.
them numerous languages. So if we really see ourselves that way, we need to take a page out of the book and just learn to speak. And I'm talking to myself too, O'Neil. I'm talking to myself too. And talk different languages. We have to be able to communicate at different levels.
Yes,
Wonderful talking to you. And we look forward to talking to you again.
absolutely, absolutely.
Have a wonderful
Thank you
day.
very much, and big up to all your listeners and those who have tuned in to hear me. Much love, muchas gracias, merci beaucoup. A bientôt.
All right, wonderful, nice. Okay, no, Vaughn looking at me like you was say, so what you are say? You say, take care. Okay, wonderful. So that's a conversation with Oneil Madden, and very exciting conversation, very interesting conversation, and we're going to take a break now. So we're going to be linking with Irie Jam Radio and a host of the corporate Beau-Regard. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mama Kelly.
How are you?
I'm doing great, wonderful. Everything is all right with me here.
Weird. Boy,
Yeah, man.
I won't ask you anything about that.
I'm trying to keep my spirits up, you know.
No, sir. You look like you're more than trying.
Yeah,
no,
I try to keep my spirits up, Mama Kelly, because we see a lot of things trying to break our spirits, you know. So I try to hold a nice vibe.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Man.
Yeah, man. I see a way, so we have to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Same way, so we have to do it. Because you make me afraid to ask you what make you so hop.
Well, one of the things is the fact that it's the weather. The weather is beautiful, you know. It's summertime almost, because after Memorial Weekend, we always call it the unofficial start of summer. So, you know, everybody's looking forward to summer, and, you know, we have had enough cold weather. So, barbecues and outdoor events is what a lot of people are looking forward to.
Absolutely. I know exactly where that is. All right. So, we understand that. You know, the weather has a lot to do with your mood, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. I think it's more than the weather, but me not asking you nothing here. Me not asking.
Man.
So we have Yeza coming up in a few, and I know you have a video that you want to share with me, and I have a video that I want to share with you too. So let's get into it right away.
Problem.
You start with your video.
Okay, let's queue up my video.
Oh, that was my video. Why update? Update.
So we might have a save yours for last moment.
No, save you put up yours. Put up yours.
Put up my video. Let's see if we can get my video up here. I wanted to get your opinion on what was stated in this video, and what you thought about what the young lady said. If we could get the video and the audio up, just so our listeners can hear. A very interesting subject, and what she was talking about, and the things she was saying.
Okay, you get it up? So hold on, like a Beau-Regard. You're the person who you do all them technical thing there? Like putting up the video and all of that?
No, well, Vaughn is putting up the video on your side.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Yes.
All right.
RJ is here in studio on this side.
Okay, got you. All right, so we're waiting on that.
All right. But in the meantime, Mama Kelly, you heard about there's another mass shooting here in the United States.
You know, I saw it, and I was saying to Vaughn is another one that?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Another one which took place yesterday, this time in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I know it was another one, you know.
Yes.
But because we were on the air, we couldn't get to hear it. Oh, my goodness.
4 people were killed, including 2 doctors that were killed on the scene. There was a press conference earlier today, and they're now releasing some information on some of the things that they're saying. It was another AR-15 assault rifle that was used again, one of the rifles that we have seen in a lot of these mass shootings.
Oh, my God.
You know, including the one in Buffalo.
You know, sorry about that. I mean, wow. There's a travel advisory, and I know, you know, people have to take care of them citizens. But me just think to myself, with all the work going on in the United States urge Americans to consider visiting Jamaica, and them give 8 parishes, I think, where them a tell people say them nothing come. But me understand that, but America no better more away. In terms of the crime and the shooting and all of that. Mark your per square foot, you know.
This is a worldwide thing, Mama Kelly. It's not just here in the United States. It's not just there in Jamaica. It's a worldwide thing. Even now I'm looking at some breaking news and information that I'm getting that a school in Long Island, Uniondale High School, is now on lockdown because of a threat that someone's sent about a school shooting. So that news is now developing. It's breaking news, and I'm going to continue to get some more information on that as it breaks.
You know, we have to carry this information. We have to carry this news. I have no doubt that we do. But at the end of the day, sometimes I wish we didn't, because a lot of these people are just people who looking at attention, you know, negative attention. And here we are, the media. Okay. That's your video, Beau-Regard?
Yes, it sounds like it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. Let's listen
it.
now.
Yes.
Most of the guys I like are some parts, some way, like my father.
Can we get the audio?
Take a minute, I like, you know, something like my father, but not in every sense or in every way he is, but his sense of humor and
but from the caption,
his ways.
She's basically saying that most of the guys that she likes, they have to possess some of the qualities of her father. You know, some of the traits that her father has, some of the things she loves about her father. You know, the way she was raised, that's what she's looking for in a partner.
What do I think about that?
I wish you could hear how she put it.
Can I hear it?
Things are so bad on the street. And he wanted to see us have a good time, but how should I say, I guess he don't want to see nothing happen to us, but he's...
Are you hearing it, Mama Kelly?
He's
Yes, I am.
kind of strong on us, keeping us kind of close or tight.
Yeah. I heard most of it.
Okay.
What is it? What I think about that?
Yes.
I think it's...
Do you think that she made a point that a lot of women can relate to?
Yes, I think she did. I really do think she did. And it's good and bad, because whoever your dad is, if no matter how dysfunctional he may have been, you tend to end up with the very same kind of dysfunctional man, you know. And that's why it is so important for dads to really be a wonderful role model, because whether he was a good role model or not, we are attracted to our dads. And the very same thing with our sons, you know. Our sons are...
They look for some of the traits in their mothers.
Oh, yes, they do. Oh, yes, they do. And that's the responsibility that we have as parents.
Yes, yes. And in this video, you know, you could see that if I wish the audience could have heard it out loud, but you could actually hear her talking about, you know, just the way she was raised, and, you know, the way her father treats her, and the good treatment that she gets, and, you know, she's saying that's the things that she looks for.
Absolutely.
He's fun, he jokes, you know, he's strict, you know, she understands that, you know, his strictness is security.
Yes.
Not that he doesn't want them to, you know, but to enjoy their lives, but the fact that she understands what he's protecting them from out in the streets.
Absolutely.
You know? I wish the audience could have heard what she was saying, but that's what she's basically saying, and I just felt that was a good thing for any father to hear his daughter say.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with her 100%. You know, as I'm listening to her, my father was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he was a good dad.
Right.
You know, and he was always in sometimes we wish he would have got, because trust me, the man just didn't watch me so. But you know, but when I think back on it, I remember having some serious issues with him, and one of them was that he would have come for me a party, and nobody else father now come for me a party, brethren, and he would have come for me in a party in some pajamas with me not think, you know, yeah. I mean, I always said to him, said, Daddy, I mean, duh, and you know, he would always say to me that when I get older, I will appreciate all that he is doing, and I have.
Yes.
I have.
Indeed.
I love him dearly, and I look just like what that young lady says. If you're not the kind of man who will stay home with their children and be there, me no especially dig that.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how we were raised.
And it's the same for boys. You know, they try to find a woman who reminds them of the goodness of their mother.
Yes, you know, absolutely.
So, yeah, man.
Absolutely. Can we have our video now before YEZA come in? Please and thank you. I want for sure Beau-Regard. Give Beau-Regard an update. So we know about Pauline.
So this is Canada. See? And this dog, he came to Canada named Juicy. And what did you name him? So this is one of the dogs that got a visa.
We need audio. We need audio. Please.
Dog, see?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to send this video to Jamaica. See?
He's a Rastafarian.
Or is it a Rastafarian? No, I'm a Rasta man, so be careful what you say. Look at that. And see, he got one leg missing.
Oh, but you should see him chase all the squirrels. He chases the geese
Look
off
at that.
the property.
Look at that. Look at that. Jamaican dog in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Check this out. A plane load of dogs came here and so many Jamaicans can't get a visa. I am going to send this on WhatsApp, and I don't know where.
144 of them.
144. Check that out. Okay, Jamaica, here you have it. It wasn't a rumor. Here's your Jamaican dog with 3 legs. Check this out. This is good. See? Hey,
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that dog here come from Clarendon.
Montego Bay.
Oh, Montego Bay.
Yeah.
And what's your name?
I'm Kim.
Okay. So you adopted him?
We adopted him. We got paired up with him when they were through a Toronto rescue that was affiliated with Montego Bay Animal Rescue, I think is what it's called.
Well, girl, I am sending this on WhatsApp now. And this dog, he came to Canada named Juicy. And what did you name him?
Charlie.
So this is one of the dogs that got a visa to come up here.
Oh, yeah.
And I said to myself, I just got to check out the Jamaican dog. See?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to send this video to Jamaica. See?
He's a Rastafarian.
Or is a Rastafari? No, I'm a Rasta man. So
This is Juicy make off for the gate already.
Me say
What
Juicy
is it?
that
Juicy
I
a
wonder.
pull, all the 3 foot Juicy have Juicy a pull the owner same way.
Yeah, and I'm happy.
Yeah, man.
I'm happy. You know, when him settle down, when him settle down, him would have asked the owner if him can send for 2 him virgin them because him know what kind of treatment them a get a good. You go, Juicy.
Yeah, God bless Juicy.
Yeah, God bless Juicy. Same way, son. You see all the lady there? Glad for Juicy. And I go take care. Sure we how we do it. Me don't care what
Kids
nobody
them love
want
him
to say.
too. I say the kids them love him too.
Look
Him
there.
or she.
Whatever it is. Whatever it is, she will take care of. So I just thought I would give you a little update. But the person who voiced it, him find it so hilarious. I mean, him find it so funny. But thank you for the update. Cause we all,
never go on
yeah,
good.
man. Yeah, man. The other day, we had a read across Jamaica, and we read a book about Tex Ghana, Canada, because them write book about it now, for children. And we read the book about Tex Ghana, Canada, and when the little children hear about the bad treatment with Rex, where Rex did not had to endure down here. One little girl said to me, Miss, you see, if I was Rex, I would have bite them. Yeah, same way, so.
No, but next time, Border Cat go Canada, you know, if they do the second part of the movie. Juicy
Oh, nice.
Juice. No, I'm saying if they're doing the second part, they have to go put Juicy and Pauline in it.
Look, you know. Yeah,
Some more Jamaican stars.
Don't miss a Juicy all I get kissed. That's why I'm sister in them. That's why. Well, you know, we can't help Juicy this. Okay? In our culture, Juicy not get no kiss down here. But if we get all of that, look here, we're going to take a break and we have Yeza to enter. You know Yeza, right?
Yes.
You know her, all right, wonderful. So she's going to be joining me right here, and we're going to have a chance to talk to the beautiful Yeza. So we soon come. Okay, if you have just joined us, we have live inside of the studio none other than Yeza. There are so many ways to describe my guest, but so many ways. Righteous bad girl, Miss you think me not do research? I know so that I want to name them. Yes, you know, so I'm going to do my research, right? But you know, really and truly, I call you the queen from the east, right? Or the empress from the east.
For you, anything.
Yeah. So we are streaming. What? Oh yes. Okay. So we're streaming live to the tri-state. So my co-host is Beau-Regard, and he is there online. So he's going to be having a conversation with us too. All right.
Greetings,
Okay.
Yeza.
Greetings.
If you can't say Beau-Regard, just say Killer Boo.
All right, Killer Boo.
You see, my girl's a wonderful Killer Boo. All right, so we want to just say a very special welcome to all those listening from the tri-state. So a while ago, I told you I described you as a rebel empress from the east, right? So tell us a little bit about coming from the east. How were you raised? Tell us about Bull Bay, you know, that kind of thing.
Okay, well, coming in from the east side, I think that I am a little bit roots and a little bit streets because it's not all the way country, but it's not all the way town. And lots of people trouble me saying I come from country, but I don't believe it's country. From high school, you know. I think it's still close to town because I'm like, what, 20 minutes from downtown?
What you explain to the people them for? Look
because
here.
Just
no, me come from Harborview, right? And them usually tell me say country me come from to. I mean, I say Kingston 17.
Exactly.
Say country 17.
Exactly. So because of that, no, Mama, I feel like I have a little bit of inkling of both worlds, the country world and the town world. So I think that's why I'm a little bit roots, but a little bit street. You know, like people would say, okay, I'm singing conscious music, but maybe you hear a little bit of gangster night, a little bit, you know, and that's where the righteous badness comes in. You know what I mean? So I think it's really me, being just a product of my environment.
Right.
So
But that could be a sister from anywhere in Jamaica.
And it's true that.
You know what I mean?
You know, I think it's just that maybe them don't see it like that.
Yes.
You know, I kind of just bring it out because I am the creative, so now I bring it out, and maybe somebody can say, you know, say true, or whatever the case is.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's how I would describe the influence of growing up in the East. Is kind of just the nice little space between both worlds, meaning urban and rural area, and really. Aside from that, just like the overall being in nature and having time to reflect and having the best childhood that I could ever imagine.
Because you're close to the sea too,
right? To the sea. I grew up on the beach, and then you have all of these fruit trees where we never go hungry. We could always pick stuff and run up and down, kite season, you name it, making box truck. You name it, we did it. So really, I had the best childhood, best childhood.
Okay, Beau-Regard.
What schools did you attend, and what were those years like?
So I attended Harborview Primary School, and what was the second part?
You go from Harborview Primary School?
Yes.
You know that's why we want to talk to you, know. Harborview, the best primary school.
Of course, the best primary school. When I was there, I was a track star, by the way.
Right, so you went to Harborview Primary School.
Yes, I did.
So your past coming in John's from Harborview Primary School to where?
I went to Merle Grove, but actually I never took the test from Harborview because there was a little interruption with the school. I had to do something else, was an emergency, and then I went to Calabar Junior High School. Okay. From there, I passed to Merle Grove.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So while you were growing up in Bull Bay, who were some of the people who you were listening to the music you were listening to that made you think that perhaps you could actually get into the music industry?
All right, so when I started to be exposed to like music, especially in the Jamaican arena, I wasn't conscious yet that I could partake. I was just listening and absorbing. But at that time, I was hearing sound systems and what my parents were playing. So the sound systems that I would hear would be Fire Sparks, and him live right down the road from me, and him annoy everybody. Him always play the sound, and him play it loud.
You hear that? Killer Boo.
Killer Boo. You know, so big up Clivey, because as much as Clivey annoyed the whole community, he's the one who was hooking me up on Mighty Diamonds and them someday I Need a Roof Over My Head and Ray Darwin and Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and even Sister Nancy and all of those people at that time. So I used to listen and say, yeah, you know, this sound good. It kind of just give me the feeling like my day home. So whenever I hear those songs, I would just feel very at peace and at home. And so they started to like impact me in a way where I started to become aware of culture and the fact that Jamaica have culture and me can be proud too of culture. And then I think it was when I started to listen to stuff that my parents were listening to, and then they started to say, wow, I never know you can sing. And so I started to merge the two ideas. Okay, Daddy think I can sing, and all of these music I'm listening to and being exposed at the same time. So I was like, okay, maybe I could.
Okay.
At what age was all of this taking place? And were you exposed or listening to something else before you started to listen to reggae and dancehall?
At what age? It's over a period of time. I would say from I was probably even 6, 7 growing up, over a period of years. I can't even say specifically when. It's kind of like more gradual than instantaneous or something that I can pinpoint. And anything else, I would say the genre, my mom used to listen to a lot of R&B stuff, foreign stuff. And then Also, Daddy used to listen to foreign stuff, even though it was like the old school stuff, so like Anita Baker. I would hear Lauryn Hill as well. Those were some of the foreign artists where I would have been exposed to. I'd call it like R&B kind of soul kind of thing.
You know, I'm here looking at you now, and I'm trying to picture you as a child. And no, I know that there's a rebel in you. A rebel, no rebel. So I know that there is a rebel in you.
Yeah.
Where do you think this rebel came from? When was she born? The rebel in you.
Oh God, I'm seeing now. Mama, you can ask some questions, sir.
You're a rebel. Where was she
I
born?
like to sit down with Mama because it's like she, puts it from a different perspective. I think that it was always there. It was always there. You know why I said that? Because even though I was a very shy girl, I noticed this thing about myself when I was younger. I was shy, but I was like talented in a lot of stuff growing up. I could have run, I could have act, I could have dance. So like the different people them used to pull me all over the place to do all type of things. And you know what? Despite me being shy, I would still want to do it.
Yeah. Because it was a burning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
I was shy to hell, but I never told my mom no.
Right.
So from them time, they're just looking at that by itself. Like I still ended up on the stage doing some modeling thing. And maybe my little stiff comedy frightened when them started to picture them, but I still did it.
Right.
So I think the rebel was, even if it was something that was holding me back, and I was saying to myself that you can't stop me with this kind of trait. You know what I mean? So I think the rebel was just always testing my boundaries.
You wanted to do it more than you were shy.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people, they might have been crippled by the shyness, but I decided that I don't want to. And at that time, I started to say, okay, well, Yeza, you're so rebellious to the point where not even if you have something where I hold you back, you're going to make it stop you. So.
It's a great trait. Wonderful
Yes,
trait.
Yes, and even though, Mama, that's how I program. If I notice something that is holding me back or something that I'm doing that kind of self-sabotage, I try my best to work on it.
Wow, that's excellent. A lot of people lack that. And if we had more of that, then we could introspect and really,
Yes, Yes, I do a lot of introspection.
Wonderful, excellent.
Thank you.
Tell us about your music. The first time you went into the booth and say you're going to voice a song, what was that like?
First time I was doing this love song.
Yeah?
I did this love song. At the time, I was just like, one of my friends who lived down the road from me, him have a studio, and I say, yo, Mom, the artist, And he said,
I never heard it quite put like that. Muwabi artist. You never know.
So him say, come down to the studio, man. We have some song and some rhythm and them something. So I say, all right. So I go down there and him start play this kind of little reggae, nice little something. And I remember I already had songs written without melodies, not without melodies. Well, I just written them, but they were not attached to any specific rhythm. So I draw for one of them now. I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to see if it can fit on the rhythm. And I just kind of did sing, and I remember thinking about my high school lover at the time. I want to talk about the day when I looked at you this way, and I had to say, you're blowing me away. I have to say, I think I know that I'll never let you go. Every day my love shows. And something, I don't remember the rest of it, but yeah, that was it.
Yes, so I've never heard you sing a cappella. I've never had this.
Oh, yeah?
I've never had this experience, Beau-Regard.
That was lovely.
It's
That was
beautiful.
lovely, Mama Kelly.
It's
Yeah, man.
beautiful.
Thank
So you
you.
always knew you could sing.
I always knew I would say, yeah, I was just really exploring with the talent, and then sometimes my father and my parents then would hear and then say stuff, and then I start to believe in the talent.
Nice.
Thank you.
So let me ask you this now. Tell us a little bit about your personality type, because in the industry particularly, you're either bad, you're righteous, you're religious, you're roots, you're Rastafarian.
Boy.
But it is very difficult to find someone who actually It's all of them.
Miss all of them,
I
mama.
found yeah. I agree. Use all of them, mama. Use all of them. How you figure now that you going to fit all of these traits into the personality that we can actually relate to?
Well, honestly, Mama, I don't think about the relatable part, to be honest, and it might sound like a harshish.
No.
But I just really did think about, I need to. The first thing that I said to myself is that I need to be true to myself in the best
Absolutely.
way that I can. And how I do that is by acknowledging all of the parts of myself. So a lot of people will pay attention to a specific aspect, and I realize that, for example, religion, it will show you a specific aspect, but it neglects a certain other part. So what I had to do growing up, and I'm still doing now, is to kind of just acknowledge all of the different facets of me, and by that, whatever it is that I needed to pay attention to, I would pay attention to it. So I noticed certain elements would come out naturally, right? So for example, I really love my roots, I love my culture. I found that out by just listening to my inner voice. And that's just one example. And also I realized that I do have a side of me that is a little bit more untamed and not so proper or righteous. You know, like I can be, what I'm gonna say, ratchet. So I realized that when I got to dance, then I enjoy myself too. You know, I'm not going to pretend as if I don't, because I do.
Yeah. I hear you.
You know, after hearing you sing just now, when I hear your voice, I'm saying that, you know, you could probably do what you do in other genres as well. What do you say to people who hear you sing and they say, well, you know, so stick to the reggae and dancehall and just the our music and don't cross over into anything else?
You know, nobody has ever told me this. No one has ever said that to me. But I, in loving my culture, I feel like I want to do it. I want to pick up where the great people them, you know, left it off, like the Bob them and all of them, Sister Nancy them. I want to do it. So it's something I'm passionate about, and I think because of that, I wouldn't see myself going off in a jazz or anything like that. I want to carry the baton of the Jamaican culture, because I love my culture.
Yeah. You know, when I heard you say, you know, you can get down in the dance hall and all of that, you know, that's something I really wanted to ask you about.
Yes.
Because I know your roots, I know your cultural, but girl, me see so many there on social media, you know, so that me I say, yes, I take time with the bridging them now, my girl. So your fashion statements, what inspires your fashion?
I think I would say my spirituality and just understanding my culture. For example, the more I understand, for example, not just Jamaica, because I feel like we're all coming from the roots of Africa, right?
Right.
The more I understand my culture is the more I understand myself, and then that kind of trickles down, or it impacts my expression of self. So, for example, when I first started to see that, well, the whole clothing thing, or how we even look at clothing in this kind of world, and then in contrasting that now to how we actually see ourselves or saw ourselves in certain parts of the continent, I realized that it was not as serious. Right now, I know a brethren, and we're talking, and him say even right now in his homeland, there are still women who them just walk out of them house with nothing, and it's normal. It's not something that they sexualize. So now, having knowledge of all of those things, and I'm not even talking about just that modern example, going all the way back, and how some of even the queens, the Queen Tie and all of them, how they adorn themselves with the jewelry and thing, but they never necessarily feel the need for cover up, and the man them never look at them in that kind of
Absolutely.
way.
I love that you bring this up.
You understand?
Yeah, I certainly do. I remember somebody on Talk the Truth saying that she wishes that, you know, we'd go back to the original woman that was well covered. The original woman was not well covered.
The original woman was not well covered. And I think a lot of people will say, okay, why are you trying to bring these kind of things that are more ancient into the modern world? But what it is really me just acknowledging and expressing myself to the point where I feel comfortable, and I am unlearning a lot of the things, and to me a lot of the ways that we learn, or one of the ways that we learn, is really by action. Going through that self-expression for yourself and feeling it, owning it, whether or not it matches with your surroundings, feeling it and owning it is a big way for me how I learn and how I become more of who I want to be.
I hear you. Wow, beautiful. Beau-Regard?
Well, speaking of learning, the learning situation, what have you learned so far about the music industry?
I've learned so many things. Let me see what comes on the top of my brain. That it's really not as an organized place. That it's not utopia. I would say you have to be vigilant, you have to be resilient, and you have to kind of find your way. And it's a lot. I explained to Kumar the other day, I was on his show, I said to him, because he asked me about women in the industry, and I said to him, like when hurricane blast the place, and after that you just try to pick up the tree them and put back the electric wire and This was my analogy to say that there is a path for you, but you must kind of do some house cleaning and all of these things that are in your way, and you have to kind of just make sure you take them up and clean up on them something.
Yeah, I always admire you. I always admire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, always.
Oh,
always. And even when we see in the minute them, say you have some roots brethren who love Yeza, and them good I say the IFE. Me love how you the I na do with them. I tell you, say the IFE do. That is beautiful for me. That level of freedom is beautiful. And as you talk about comfort, yes, as you talk about comfort level, let me tell you what I experience when I see you. I experience someone who is comfortable with herself. And if you are comfortable with yourself, automatically I'm comfortable with you.
Thank you, Mom. That's like the best compliment. Honestly speaking.
I'm being very serious.
It's the best compliment because it's like, it shows me that the energy, it has nothing else but to just be real.
Absolutely.
That is it, really and truly.
Absolutely.
It's not a facade of, you just want to do this. Because there are perversions out there, women who are doing a lot of things for a specific end result. But we have to acknowledge that this is not by any means everyone's mentality. And you have to pay respect to what the person or the woman is thinking of herself, and try to understand her self-expression before you just run with that and call it something where you did say from a different vibration. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when I come back, I know Beau-Regard has something there that he want to ask.
All right, Beau-Regard, ready.
No problem.
All right, we're soon forward. If you've just joined us, we have live on the bridge none other than Yeza, and Yeza is an entertainer, a singer. In fact, can I tell you, I've always thought of you as a singer, but hearing you sing a cappella, now I know you're a singer.
OMG.
No, you are a singer. You really have a beautiful voice.
Thank you.
And Beau-Regard, I have something more to ask you. What?
Okay, Beau-Regard, what going?
Beau-Regard hasn't come in yet. Okay, fine. Okay, let me ask you this until Beau-Regard comes in.
Yes.
I'm listening to you talk, and there's a question that I wanted to ask you. A lot of particularly female entertainers, producers or managers tend to want to package you in a certain way. I guess a marketing kind of strategy.
Yeah.
But having spoken to you, I realize that it's going to be very difficult to package Yeza. Because and it's a wonderful thing, because when them package you one way and you grow out of that somebody they know, who you gonna be?
Boy, like when you go to retail shop and you have to just buy where you see.
Take me as I am, baby.
You ever just know say, these are it, and you can pick that one. You can pick that one. So when you pick this one now, you have to just know say
that's your pick. I love that. I so love that. And that's your pick. Yes.
That's your pick.
Now, Mama Kelly, I took the commercial break to go on the social media of Yeza's, and I saw all of what you were talking about, all the pictures.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh,
everything is there. But I also saw that she did a song with Sizzla Kalonji.
Right, we have it.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. Can you tell us about how that song came about and what did it mean to have Sizzla Kalonji Dada on the track with you?
All right, so the track came about, I feel, by some sort of divine mysticism, because originally I released a track named Glory, and it was a standalone song. But in the first part of the song, I said, "Left the fire upon the streets, it's like a laundry." And I think that was the anchor that actually led to Sizzla being on the track. Because now, when I saw a Gleaner article being published, my article right there and then Sizzla article literally side on side. And I said, geez, look at that on the same day. And then I said to one of my co-manager, I said, listen, wow, wouldn't it be so spectacular if Sizzla was on the track?
Wow.
And he said, of course. And him just said, make me go drive, go link him tonight.
Oh my
and him link him. And because he heard that I really rate him from the actual song, when I even call his name and everything, it was just like a done deal. He was in the studio the next day, literally voicing his verse.
We have a copy of the song, so we're going to play a little bit of it. But can I just say that I've been watching the promotions and I've been looking at yourself and Sizzla. It's interesting when I see the pictures of you and Sizzla, because Sizzla is not the easiest guy to blend in with. because
what do you mean?
No, in the sense that he's militant and him revolutionary and him good and even to that's something that we deal with. But look here, there was so much chemistry between the two of you now. And I'm thinking, that's my guy. That's
there was
a lot of chemistry. Even the pictures, the promotional pictures, you see the chemistry. Sizzla still Dada, him still hold him Dada harder,
Yes.
But
and there was a video shoot also, right?
Yes, there was a video. So the video is right now out on YouTube. You can check it out. So it's Yeza featuring Sizzla Glory.
beautiful. Let's just a taste.
Yeah.
Sizzla being featured, yo. Big things happening. Hey, Yeza. Sizzla.
We're grinding. Pandemic can't stop the damn winner. Mama said for one, then no darling. Get the bag, then not stop the drawstring. When okay, we have a make we great. When okay, we have a make we great. Tell them try whip on another day. Launch a rocket, we are elevate. Yeah, darling, left the fire on the streets, it's a lock of laundry. Them lock on my company, some me a fiancé. Love me own a company, some me never lonely. So allow me, when you see me touch the road like blinding, abide me. Every dollar I feel make politely, me righteous. Not know what them say, not to surprise me, me sight it. Still I rise up in a this year crisis, watch niceness, ayy.
You heard enough? Yes, Beau-Regard say
What I mean?
What's the feedback been like for this song?
It's been huge. Like, it's been really huge. So it's like even streams on Spotify, the views on YouTube still climbing. You know, it's
nice.
It's massive. So I give thanks.
You see how important it is to be yourself? Because you are so many things that we just said a while ago.
Yeah.
Sexy, roots, all of them things there. And it is being yourself that I relate to, you know. It is the yourself you relate to, you know.
You never said nothing better, because he even tell me to my face, he said, listen, that is why he might get so much cause, because your roots, but you still have the nice thing that you know? I would say, oh. And then I feel like him have that in himself too, because he is very cultural, but him still very street.
Him still have that nice thing there.
Him have a nice thing too, you know? That nice thing there too. And you never say nothing better, mama. It's real talk. It's real talk.
You can feel it. You see, everything have an energy, you know. Everything, even the phone, yeah. Everything have an energy.
Everything.
Yeah, man. And me say, when we see the picture, when you lean upon him all him dada harder so. But watch out now. But Beau-Regard, you can see say him like say she lean upon him.
A nice thing.
Yes. Yes. Nice, nice. Last question is yours, Beau-Regard.
Where can people follow you on your social media platforms, and how do they get access to your music?
So access to my music is everywhere: iTunes, Spotify. Make sure you stream it. And I am YEZA, that's Yeza Music, on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of them. So yeah, basically follow me. Make sure you stream the new song, Glory.
Right.
Sizzla.
I'm very happy to know that you've done this one with Sizzla, because I always thought that you just needed that song to just push you over, because you're dead already, but you just want that song now for just put you over there. And this is the one. This is the one. And congrats, and keep being yourself, and just don't let up, don't ease up, don't make them package you, don't make them put you in no marketing, nothing. Just continue to be anything where you want to be.
Listen, even it make you worse now. Mama said you give me the forward for that. It make you worse. It make it 10 times worse. If I plan for change my mind, no, it can't. It's setting us one. No.
Your mama approved.
Of course, waiting.
Yeah, man.
This is my musical mom.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. Nice talking to you, Yeza. Nice being this close to you, that we can have this kind of conversation with you. First time hearing you do your a cappella tune. You have even a more beautiful voice in real than even on record, and most people is the other way around.
True.
For real?
Yes.
OMG. Thank
Yeah,
you,
man.
Mama. I really appreciate it.
You just go, girl. You just go. Don't let nothing hold you back.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah, man. You just go. you just go.
you.
Beau-Regard.
Continue to do great things, Yeza. And,
Thank you, Beau-Regard.
We wish you all the best here from Irie Jam Radio. Definitely.
Much love and respect. Rebel up.
All
right, beautiful. So, Beau-Regard, wonderful talking to Yeza, and I know your listeners and viewers really appreciated this conversation.
Yes, I'm sure they did, Mama Kelly. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
Having this conversation. Big up to everybody in Jamaica, and I'm wishing everyone a wonderful weekend, and just be safe out there.
Thank you, and the very same to you. Bless up your listeners again, and the tri-state and the diaspora, Caribbean and Jamaican people. You know, we're one. We love one another. Bless up on yourself.
All right, take care.
Wonderful conversation. It's now 12:55. You know, we await Nikki Z. Nikki Z comes in a few. We want to say a very big thank you to our guest this morning, Oneil, and he is a language teacher, linguist, specialist, that kind of thing. My friends want to get in touch with Oneil because one of my friends wants her daughter to learn French. So I'm asking you, Yvonne, if you can just give us a link, because our listeners want to link with Oneil because them have them children that them want French somehow. A lot of them say they want to learn French because they did Spanish in school. So they want to learn French. So Oneil, thank you very much for sharing your views with us. And of course, wonderful to have Yeza as our very special guest. I want to say a very big thank you to all those listening. Always a pleasure. Enough respect to the Untengle team, and bless up yourself, everyone.